And what if I told you that, at the moment of death, it will not be a judging God who condemns us, nor an accuser listing out our faults? What if I told you that the final verdict will not be pronounced by an external voice, but will rise from the depths of our very own soul? There is a sentence, an extraordinary revelation heard by a humble Spanish nun named Sister Josefa Menéndez at the beginning of the 20th century, that dismantles every preconceived idea we carry within us, a sentence that still today falls like a sudden silence upon anyone who hears it for the first time. A revelation that changes everything. At the moment of death, it is the soul itself that recognizes the truth of what it has been. No accusing voice, only the conscience itself finally able to see everything. Without filters, without deception, without the masks we have worn throughout our entire life. But what does it really mean to see one's own truth? What does this direct encounter with ourselves imply when placed under the light of God? And what did Sister Josefa witness? What did she hear that can radically transform the way we live our life? Not tomorrow, but starting right now, in this very moment? This is the question that hangs suspended, like a breath held in the air. And its answer is a secret that concerns the eternal destiny of each one of us. To understand this mystery, we must travel with our mind and heart to Poitiers, France, to a convent of the Society of the Sacred Heart. It was there that a young religious lived, Sister Josefa Menéndez. She was not a theologian. She had not studied in great universities. She was not known for eloquence. To the world, she was insignificant, a humble nun, often ill, with only an elementary education, devoted to silence and the simplest tasks. And yet, God's logic is often a paradox in the eyes of the world. He did not choose a queen. He did not choose a renowned mystic whose words already enchanted crowds. He did not turn to a learned theologian. His choice fell on a small, silent soul, an earthen vessel that sought nothing for itself. Perhaps because an empty vessel can be filled completely. Perhaps because the message he wanted to entrust to the world was so pure, so essential, that it could not be contaminated by intellectual pride or human ambition. Through the disarming simplicity of Sister Josefa, Jesus wanted to teach us what truly happens to the soul in the very instant it leaves this world. The revelations she wrote down, gathered in the book The Way of Divine Love, are so direct, so luminous, and so profoundly in harmony with the heart of the gospel that the Church, while not elevating them to dogma, considers them a spiritual treasure of immense value, a safe guide for those who seek truth. Sister Josefa describes the moment of death not as sudden darkness, not as the extinguishing of a light, but rather as a passage into light. It is not a collapse, it's an opening. It is not the end of consciousness, but its ultimate awakening. It is as though the soul, imprisoned for a lifetime in the limitations of the body, time, and space, finally breaks free. Imagine wearing for years a tight, heavy garment that restricts your movement. The moment of death is the instant that garment is removed, and the soul finds itself naked, light, free to perceive reality as it truly is in that moment, which no longer belongs to our chronological time. The judgment takes place. The soul, having left the body, sees its entire life unfold before it in a flash of total comprehension. But be attentive. This is not like watching a film on a screen. It is something far deeper, infinitely more personal. The soul does not simply see, it relives the inner meaning of every action, every word, every thought, every omission. It sees the invisible ripple produced by each of its choices. A small gesture of charity, done in secret and forgotten on earth, shines there like a sun, revealing its eternal beauty. A sharp word spoken lightly shows the deep wound it inflicted on another heart, a wound that perhaps never healed. An act of pride that earned you admiration in this world appears for what it truly is, tragically empty, a hollow shell. A prayer whispered in the darkness of your room for a stranger reveals itself as a seed of light traveling through the universe and bearing fruit. And here we reach the central point, the beating heart of the revelation. No one is pointing a finger. No one is reading a list of charges. It is the soul itself that, submerged in the blinding light of God's truth, finally and irrevocably understands what it has chosen to become. Jesus explained this revolutionary concept to Sister Josefa in words of stunning clarity. My presence does not condemn, it is the soul that, in my light, sees its condition. Think of this metaphor. The light of God is like a pure sun rising over the entire landscape of our life. The sun does not create the dark valleys or the radiant mountains. It simply reveals them. Imagine living for years in a room convinced it was clean. One day, someone opens the window and a beam of sunlight enters. Suddenly, you see billions of dust particles dancing in the light. The sun did not create the dust. It was already there. The light simply revealed it. In the same way, God does not need to accuse us. Sin, selfishness, lack of love, they are already within us. His infinite light of holiness and love simply reveals us to ourselves. And in that seeing, in that total and instantaneous comprehension, the soul understands on its own where it belongs, not because it is forced, but because of a kind of spiritual gravity. The soul that spent its life fleeing from God, rejecting love, enclosing itself in selfishness, becomes allergic to that light. It perceives it as torment, like an unbearable fire, and it throws itself away from it, into the abyss it has chosen. The soul that has loved, even imperfectly, through falls and repentance, sees God's beauty and also its own stains. A burning desire to be worthy of that love overwhelms it. This is why such a soul embraces purgatory with gratitude, because it sees it as the fire of love that will make it worthy of the divine wedding feast. And finally, the soul that has lived in fullness of love, that has become love itself, glides into that light effortlessly, like a drop of water returning to its ocean, finding its joy and peace. Its own truth places it, not an external sentence. Sister Josefa is firm on this point. After death, every mask falls. All earthly life is, in some way, a theater where we wear countless masks. The mask of strength hiding fragility, the mask of virtue hiding the desire to be admired, the mask of indifference hiding the fear of loving and suffering. In that instant, every mask shatters, the scaffolding of excuses collapses, the art of lying to oneself disappears, the conscience becomes transparent as crystal. Judgment is instantaneous because it is not a process of words, but a single, total act of seeing. It is as if, for the first time, the soul sees its spiritual photograph in infinite perfect resolution. And in that image, everything is present. Not only actions, but the secret intentions, the hidden motivations, the desires cultivated in the silence of the heart. One cannot deny what is seen. One can only acknowledge it. The soul sees and understands, forever. At this point, a question may arise. Where, then, is God's mercy? If everything is so clear, so sharp, is there still room for forgiveness? The answer Sister Josefa receives is one of the most precious jewels of her testimony. Mercy does not erase the truth, it purifies it. Our age often has a sentimental idea of mercy. We imagine a good-natured God who shrugs and says, "It's fine," covering everything with a veil. But that would not be love. It would be indifference. True love cannot be indifferent to truth. God's mercy is a fire, not a fire that destroys, but one that enters our wounds to heal them, that burns away our impurities, so that the pure gold within us may shine. Truth, even when painful, is the first indispensable act of God's love for us. The judgment, then, is not an act of condemnation. It is an act of love so pure that it cannot lie. A love that reveals us to ourselves so that we may finally be saved. None of this was revealed to frighten us, but to awaken us. If judgment is not an arbitrary act of God, but the natural consequence of the life we choose, then every instant of our existence carries immense meaning. Every day, every hour, every minute is an opportunity to write something beautiful, true, and eternal onto our soul. Throughout these revelations, Christ repeats to Sister Josefa a cry from his heart, "Do not fear my light, it is a light of love." Judgment frightens us because we fear our own truth, but God does not fear it. He knows our fragility. He created us. He loves us passionately as we are. His light does not aim to humiliate us, but to purify us and draw us to himself. Judgment is not condemnation. It is the ultimate act of love. A love so great that it respects our freedom to the end. A love so humble that it allows us to choose even beyond the final breath. Brother, sister, if judgment is a light that reveals what we are, then the most important question of our life is not, what will the judgment be like? But a far more intimate, urgent one. What will that light find today, in this moment when it enters my soul? If it is true that we will be the ones who understand our own destiny, then today is the day to shape it. Today is the day to place a grain of love where yesterday there was indifference, to offer a word of forgiveness where yesterday resentment grew, to remove a mask and reveal a fragment of truth. And so today, I invite you to join your voice to mine and turn this thought into a prayer. Write below in the comments this simple yet powerful invocation so that it may become the shared desire of all of us, a chorus rising to heaven. Lord, when your light comes, let it find love in my heart. Let this be our prayer. Let this be our deepest desire. For one day, everything will pass, and all that will remain, all that will have eternal value, will be the love that light has found.